Thanks for joining us. I'm Destiny Patterson. Let's get you caught up. Hope, Arkansas police have arrested a 16-year-old in connection to a homicide that happened at Northside Park on April 10th. They say the suspect allegedly killed 24-year-old Bernard MacArthur and hurt a second person. Now he's being held in a juvenile facility for first-degree murder, among other charges. Police have not released the condition of the person hurt in that incident. Guests had to evacuate the Wyndham Garden Hotel in Texarkana, Texas this morning after a fire sent smoke billowing into the sky. Along with all of those hotel guests, a group of students taking a test inside of a ballroom were also forced from the building. Fire crews responded to the hotel on State Line Avenue at about 10 a.m. Luckily, no one was hurt, and it's believed that that fire started in the kitchen area. Just hours from now, the Shreveport Fire Department will learn whether or not it has a new chief. KSLA News 12's Christian Picos is downtown at Government Plaza with more on who the council will consider.
That Shreveport City Council meeting begins just 3 hours from right now here in downtown Shreveport at Government Plaza, and it's during that meeting we will learn whether or not Clarence Reese becomes the next Shreveport Fire Chief. Now, Reese is a veteran of the Shreveport Fire Department. In fact, he's served with them for nearly 2 decades, and he has the resume to prove it. His latest post was as the administrative assistant to the fire chief. We in the local media also know Reese quite well. He was a public information officer for quite some time too. Now, Reese got his start with SFD as a firefighter as well as an EMT. Reese says if he is confirmed, he plans to really emphasize the importance of recruitment.
We're competing now with the sheriff's office, especially if you want to enter into public service. We're competing with the sheriff's office and Shreveport Police Department, who they've been looking at lowering the age to 18 to get them in, to mentor them, and by the age of 21, wherever they can use them at, they're already within the system. So now we're competing with them as well. So we have to do a better job of making the fire service attractable.
KSLA will provide complete coverage of that city council meeting beginning at 3 o'clock this afternoon. You can look for an update on air and on our KSLA News 12 app once we learn whether or not Reese was confirmed as fire chief. Back to you.
Well, good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. Almost feels like the weekend here with the Destiny Patterson doing the show with me today. Here's a look at your forecast. It's very nice and hot outside. We do have partly cloudy skies out there, but otherwise fairly gorgeous out here on our NSU Skycam. Temperatures, though, steadily on the move and on that upward trend closer to record temperatures. 85 currently is our temperature right now in Shreveport, and 85 currently in Mansfield. It's 84 in Marshall, 82 for Idabel, 85 in DeQueen and in Texarkana. And again, those temperatures are going to continue to climb over the next couple of hours. Here's a look at what we're expecting around 2 o'clock this afternoon. 91 degrees, around 91 by 3, and around 92 for later this afternoon by 4 and 5 o'clock. I think the clouds will continue to dissipate a little bit more into the later afternoon and evening hours as we still have a little bit more sunshine. But take a look at today's winds out of the south-southeast at around 10 miles per hour. So overall, not too blustery out there, but we will get a few brief wind gusts at around 10 miles per hour. Just taking a look at our next weather maker, or our next chance for a cool down after all of this heat. That's coming this weekend. Here's a look at future track Saturday evening. We could have some showers maybe further to the south and the east of the Argyle-Tex, but looking at some of it could point towards northwest Louisiana in the next couple of days. We'll track that out coming up in your full forecast.
Now, the community is asking what can be done to fix the crime issues that we have in Shreveport. Well, that was the topic of discussion at a town hall meeting Monday night. Dozens gathered at Caddo Magnet High School to talk about violence in the city. It comes after 13-year-old Landry Anglin was shot and killed by a stray bullet on Fairfield Avenue.
We just need, I don't know, we just pray all the time.
I think all of us working together and all of us being aware and knowing where are these kids coming from that they've got these Uzis or whatever they're shooting with. And I want to find out about guns. I don't know about this. And I just want to find out what's wrong.
The other thing we have to do, and I don't...
Now, many of those at the meeting said they want less talk and more action. Some people have suggested turning some cut-through streets into dead-end roads with the hopes to reduce drive-bys.
I guess beat the rush, get in early and get our vote in, and we'll have our civic duty done.
Lila and Marion Gentry were some of the first voters to cast their ballots in the Arkansas primary election. You can vote early right now for the May 24th election, and on that ballot are several state and county candidates.
A lot of times I may be out of town on voting day, and so I want to make sure that I'm here and cast my ballot and get it done. And it's a great opportunity. The hours are great. The lines are not long. So
now you can early vote between 8 in the morning and 6 in the evening, Monday through Friday, and 10 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon on Saturday. And again, Election Day is May 24th. At the Louisiana State Capitol, lawmakers debated a bill to roll back a law that's been on the books less than a decade, keeping 17-year-olds from being placed in adult prisons. Supporters of this change say older teens are playing a role in the crime across the state and say this proposal could make teens think twice. But others argue that placing teens in adult prisons is not the answer, and instead they want to address the underlying issues.
Well, I tell you what we're doing right now is not working, and so that anything that we can do that will have a positive impact, I'm all for, and I think this is one of those things that'll have a positive impact.
What I would argue is over-penalization and over-criminalization has kind of led to some breaking apart of the family structure in many cases. So what we're talking about here is just perpetuating that cycle.
The bill's author argues that aside from crime, the juvenile detention centers are understaffed, underfunded, and overcrowded. Opponents say the adult prisons have those same issues. The Louisiana Supreme Court is hearing arguments today in a case that could impact hundreds of people convicted of murder. The case deals with felons convicted of non-unanimous juries. The Supreme Court passed a ruling in 2020 that made non-unanimous jury convictions unconstitutional. However, this case deals with split jury convictions that happened before the court ruling. The hearing today deals with the 25-year-old murder conviction of Reginald Reddick. He was found guilty by a 10-2 jury decision in 1997 from a murder that happened in Plaquemines Parish. A ruling in Reddick's favor could change the fate for more than 1,500 people still incarcerated from a non-unanimous jury conviction.
If you retry the case, if the case is 10, 15, 25 years old, the witnesses are going to be gone. You probably will not be able to carry the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And probably the practical aspect of this is probably a majority of these 1,500 prisoners will probably be released.
If it does not happen in this court, we will not stop until those 1,500 citizens that are behind bars unconstitutionally are brought home to their families. Bottom line.
Our sister station spoke with the family of the victim in this case, and they want Reddick to stay in jail. The Supreme Court has already ruled that felons convicted on split decisions are not eligible for a retrial regardless of the court decision if they've already exhausted their appeals. A nearly 2-week manhunt has ended for an Alabama inmate and the corrections official accused of helping him escape. Police cornered Casey White and Vicky White after a 15-minute car chase in Evansville, Indiana. Chris Davis has those details.
Casey quickly surrendered, and his immediate words to our team is please help my wife. She just shot herself in the head.
U.S. Marshals say there is no evidence Casey and Vicky White were ever married, but their capture brings a stunning end to a manhunt that captivated the country for nearly 2 weeks. Law enforcement collided with their third getaway car, a gray Cadillac, in Evansville, Indiana.
There's several tragedies, to this story, the way this escape ended, but also too, it stings that somebody entrusted with what she was given as a correctional officer planned, organized, and facilitated this escape.
Vicky White died in the hospital hours later. It all started on April 29th. Authorities say this surveillance video shows Officer White leading the inmate to her patrol car outside the jail in Lauderdale County, Alabama. Police say they ditched it for this 2007 Ford Edge, which she allegedly bought under an alias. It was found abandoned in Tennessee last week. A tip led the Marshal Service to release these images, surveillance photos of a man they believe to be Casey White at an Evansville car wash last Tuesday. They say he abandoned that vehicle, a 2006 Ford F-150, there.
Visiting with the car wash owner and some additional surveillance footage that led us to believe that they were in this gray Cadillac.
They found it at a nearby hotel where Vicki White was spotted wearing a wig as she left with Casey White Monday. That discovery turned into a 15-minute chase that culminated in their capture. Nearly 300 miles from the jail, they fled together. Back in Alabama, Lauderdale County Sheriff Rick Singleton made this promise about Casey White.
He's not getting out of this jail again. I'll assure you that.
For Casey White, he is expected to face capital murder charges down in Alabama sometime next month. For Vicki's death, it poses a question we may never have the answer to. How does a suspected murderer with a criminal past convince a corrections director in good standing to help him escape? Chris Davis, CBS News, Evansville, Indiana.
Well, the next couple of days are going to feel more like summer instead of the late spring. We do have temperatures well above average for the next couple of days. I'll take a look at your forecast of when things will cool off right after the break.